Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really radical proposal for the future of warfare. It's all based on a fictional conflict, a what-if scenario that ends up questioning the entire role of the modern fighter jet. Okay, let's get right into it.
Okay, so to really get this proposal, we first need to look at a simulated future conflict that the source material calls Operation Sindoor. Now, this whole scenario is really there to highlight what it sees as a major weak spot in modern air forces, especially when they go up against a well-prepared enemy.
So the source paints this picture of a tense 4-day conflict. Day 1, they send in the jets, the traditional approach, and it does not go well. But by day 2, they totally switch gears, and that leads to a completely different outcome. Let's actually compare those first 2 days side by side to see what went down.
I mean, the difference is just night and day. On day 1, you have these super advanced jets, right? But they're forced to fire from so far back that their bombs, which are relatively slow, just get picked off by the defense systems. But day 2, they switch to these high-speed BrahMos and Prale missiles, which fly in these crazy, unpredictable paths, and they just slice right through. This whole exercise leads to one single, powerful conclusion.
Right there, in a contested environment, the missile always gets through. This one sentence is the whole takeaway. It's basically saying that when things get tough, you can't rely on the manned jet anymore, but you can rely on the missile. And that idea, well, that kicks off a huge debate about strategy and, you guessed it, money. Lots of money. And that brings us to the real heart of the argument, the economics of it all. The debate centers on a planned purchase of 114 new multi-role fighter jets, a program with a price tag that is, well, absolutely staggering when you look at the whole picture. $100 billion. And that's not just the sticker price to buy the planes. No, that's the estimated cost over the entire 40-year service life of this fleet. So where is all that cash actually going? It's definitely not just what you pay up front.
Yeah, check this out. The source literally calls this a fiscal black hole. See, the initial purchase price is only about 30% of the total cost. The other 70%, a whopping $70 billion, gets eaten up over the decades by fuel, maintenance, spare parts, all the infrastructure you need just to keep them flying. It's a massive, long-term financial commitment.
So let's recap. On one hand, you have a war game showing that your expensive jets might not even work when you need them most. And on the other, you have this insane long-term cost. So what do? Well, the source proposes something pretty radical, a major strategic pivot.
And this is the name of the strategy. It's not about just canceling the fighter jet program entirely. It's more nuanced. It's about a strategic cutback, and then taking all that money you just saved and plowing it into what the source sees as the real future of warfare.
The plan itself is super straightforward. It's a 3-step process. Step 1, slash the order. Instead of 114 jets, just by 36, enough to maintain your core capabilities. Step 2, take the savings, which comes out to about $85 to $90 billion over the life of the program. And step 3, the most important part, reinvest every single dollar of it into the future. So, where does that massive pile of cash go? It gets funneled into what the document calls the 3 pillars of a new, modern military. And these are specifically designed to counter the exact threats that made those fighter jets look so vulnerable in the first place. So what are these 3 pillars? Okay, here they are. Pillar 1, an offensive force of incredibly fast next-generation missiles. Pillar 2, a defensive shield, but one made of lasers and microwaves. And Pillar 3, an invisible front, an offensive cyber capability that can win the fight before it even starts. Let's dig into each of these, starting with those missiles. All right, so this is all about taking a huge leap forward. We're not talking about a small upgrade, we're talking about going from supersonic to hypersonic. I mean, look at these speeds, from Mach 2.8 to maybe Mach 7, even Mach 9. And it's not just about raw speed. They fly on these unpredictable glide paths. The bottom line? An enemy's reaction time shrinks from a few minutes down to just a few seconds. They become nearly impossible to stop. The second pillar is all about defense, and it's trying to solve a huge, and I mean huge, economic problem in modern warfare. Right now, you might have to fire a multi-million-dollar interceptor missile to shoot down a drone that costs, what, a few $1,000s? That's a losing game. You'll go broke trying to defend yourself. So what's the solution? Directed energy weapons. Instead of shooting an expensive projectile, you're zapping the target with a super-focused beam of energy. Think lasers or high-powered microwaves. It hits at the speed of light, and it completely flips the script on the economics of defense.
And the difference here is profound. The cost per shot drops from millions of dollars to pretty much just the cost of electricity. And your magazine, your ammo, goes from a limited number of missiles to effectively infinite, as long as you've got power. This is how you build a sustainable shield that can actually stand up to an overwhelming attack. All right, our final pillar moves us off the physical battlefield entirely and into a totally different domain, cyberspace. And the goal here is incredibly ambitious. It's to win the fight before a single shot is even fired, by neutralizing the enemy's ability to see and communicate. Left of launch, this is the key concept. Think of a timeline. The launch is the moment a weapon is fired. Left of launch is everything that happens before that. So instead of getting better at shooting down an incoming missile, you use cyber tools to make sure that missile can never be launched in the first place. So how would this actually work? Well, the source suggests that you could hack right into an opponent's air defense network. From there, you could feed their radar operators false information, making them waste their precious missiles on ghost targets. Or even crazier, you could essentially erase your own planes from their screens, making even a non-stealthy jet invisible. You neutralize the threat without firing a single shot. So when you put all of this together, what do you have? If a military actually implemented this, it wouldn't just be a change in purchasing priorities. It would represent a fundamental, ground-up shift in military doctrine for the 21st century. The crucial takeaway is this grand strategic shift. It's about moving away from concentrating all your value and capability in a few dozen complex, expensive, and frankly, vulnerable platforms like jets. The idea is to shift towards a more resilient, distributed network of assets, systems that are cheaper, more numerous, and often unmanned. And that really leaves us with a final, pretty thought-provoking question about the very nature of future conflict. Who are the heroes of the next war? Is it the pilots in the cockpits? Or is it the programmers and the physicists, the people developing the weapons that might just make those cockpits obsolete? Thanks for joining us, Explainer.